Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm starting the leveling kit install video today. Here's everything in the kit unboxed. I got the premium N3 shocks when I ordered my kit. If you saw my previous video, I had this all laying in the back seat because I did that video while I'm starting this video, so this is right after I did my last video, but this is what everything looks like right out of the box. This is exactly how it's packaged. It's really nice packaging, I think. It looks really good. But here's the keys. Right here, here's the blocks. 3-inch blocks. And then some hardware. Here's the U-bolts. And then if this right here is just a rough country sticker in there. And then here's the shocks right here. They come with these stickers. I know some people don't like to put them on there, but I think they look better with the stickers on there. But that's just my personal opinion. But if you order the kit and get everything open and out of the box, this is what's gonna look like. This does not come with the kit. I bought these separate, but I did buy them from Rough Country. I bought red shock boots. That's all this is. See if I can get it open. These are just red Rough Country shock boots. I bought them for these shocks. Just thought they'd look good and give them a little bit extra protection. But yeah, I got 4 of those in there. So we'll get started on the install. Alright, so the first thing you want to do when installing the keys in the front is to remove the adjuster bolt. Well, you also want to make sure the truck is on jacks and up in the air, but you want to remove the adjuster bolt first. That's what we're doing here. Then after you have the adjuster bolt removed, you want to take a GM torsion bar removal tool and you want to crank it all the way up. You're trying to relieve the pressure off of the torsion bar so you can get the keys out. But you can rent these at your local auto parts store. You can rent them for free at O'Reilly's. But go ahead, get that on there, get it tight, and you want to crank it up. That way you can relieve the pressure. And there's a little spacer in between the key and the torsion, like the adjuster bolt. So you want to crank it up. That way you can get the key out and push the spacer out. And then once you get the spacer out, you want to take a hammer and beat the keys or the torsion bar. What you're trying to do is knock the torsion bar free. That way you can slide it out of the keys. So the truck's old, so it's probably rusted and whatnot. So just take a hammer, beat it a little bit, and eventually that torsion bar will come free like that, and the torsion key will fall out. So next, you're going to take the new torsion key, put it in there, and all you got to do is slide the torsion bar back through just like the old one. Now the next step is to take the torsion bar removal tool and jack that key back up. That way you have enough space to put the spacer back in there. That way it will hold the key in so you can put your adjuster bolt back on. So you want to go ahead and crank up the key with the torsion bar removal tool. And then once you get it high enough, you take and slide the spacer back in. The spacer is almost in. You gotta make sure you get it high enough. Alright, the spacer just went in. So now you can remove the torsion bar removal tool. So go ahead and take that off. Now the last step is to put the adjustment bolt back on. So you just want to go ahead and put that in, crank it back up. You probably want to start back where you originally had the bolt before you put the new keys in, and then measure your fenders from the ground to the fender, and then you can adjust the bolt and get the height you want. And that's pretty much it for the front. Just make sure you let everything settle before you measure it, because if you measure it right when you put it on and then you start to drive it, it'll start to move. Alright guys, well we got the lift on the truck. There it is. It looks pretty good. It definitely made a difference. When I first bought it, I was kind of scared. I was like, 2 inches might not make that big of a difference on this truck, but it did. It looks really good. So I didn't film the install for the shocks or the back, but I'll go ahead and show you what we did. I didn't film it because it started raining while we were putting it on, and I wanted to be able to drive it to work and stuff. So right here is the new blocks and the new U-bolts. So it's pretty simple. If you have a big jack, hydraulic jack, you jack this part up and get it really high, and then back in there, that rail right there where my finger's pointing, we put a jack stand on that side and then one over here on that side. That way the truck was up in the air, and then we let this jack back down to where these tires would touch the ground. So the truck, the frame and everything was up in the air, and the suspension was hanging and the tires were on the ground. So that lets you take a bottle jack and put it right here on the leaf springs and jack the leaf springs up. Well, first you gotta undo the U-bolts and take those off, but then you can take the bottle jack and push this up, and it takes the pressure off the block. Then you can take the block out, put the new one in, let the bottle jack down, and then put the U-bolts back on. So you just do that for both sides for the back. And then the shocks are pretty simple. You just unbolt the old shocks and bolt the new ones back on. But yeah, looks really good. I gotta get some new tires now. These look a little small. But right now, I'm at 39 inches in the front from the ground to the fender, and 38.5 from the ground to the fender in the back. So I'm about a ½ inch higher in the front. Before, like when I first did it, or before we put the lift kit on, from the ground to the fender was exactly 37 inches in the front and 37.5 in the back. So the back used to be a ½ inch higher, and this was 2 inches lower. So I got a total of 2 inches in the front and about an inch in the back. But the front, I still have, let me show you how much room I still have on my bolts to crank the keys up. I still have a lot of room on the bolts to crank the front up. So if you really wanted to crank the front up and get a good lean or like a squat, I mean, I'm not trying to go for that look. I just wanted it just about a ½ inch to a ½ inch higher in the front and the back. But you could get a pretty good squat going with that.